Well, we are going to transition into our next topic, which we lovingly call Retrohale Riff Raff. I love these intros.
Oh my, oh me, oh my. Yeah, so we are going to get into this. We typically do a little bit of a movie game here, and of course we're man down today. We're going to do something just a little bit differently. We are going to talk about some movies, but it's Father's Day, and what we're going to do here briefly is we're going to talk about some movies. And we're going to talk about some movies with some strong father figures.
All right. Now, am I going to be familiar with these movies?
Some of them, I imagine you probably will be familiar with. Certainly, go ahead and shout it out if you immediately recognize the movie. We're gonna look at those. We're gonna talk about it a little bit, and we're gonna have a good time.
I like having a good time.
Let's do it. Where did the strong father figures go? My contention here is that movies, television as well, have changed things up a little bit, and we don't get a lot of these strong father figures anymore. So I'm going to present to you some of my favorites, and we can talk about it, and we can compare, see if there are any more modern contemporary versions. Here we go. He's a compassionate leader. He deeply values the lives of his troops and their families. He's portrayed as fighting for better equipment and personally training his men. He's shown to be highly intelligent with a deep understanding and confidence of military history and battle tactics. He's developing new strategies to anticipate his opponent's next moves. He relies on his strong religious faith and is shown openly praying for the wisdom to make impossible life and death decisions under extreme stress. Even when outnumbered and surrounded in the heat of battle, he remains composed, adapting tactics to prevail in the face of overwhelming odds. That may not immediately just give it away to you, but tell me, what do you think?
Like Patriot with Mel Gibson.
Does this sound like a man? Sound like a father type of man?
Absolutely sounds like a man. I would. Yeah. Oh, we were so well. I got the actor right. Okay.
This is We Were Soldiers. Yes, sir. One of my favorite quotes from this movie. I will be the first to set foot on the field, and I will be the last to step off. And I will leave no one behind.
Yeah, I remember seeing this movie years ago. This was definitely an awesome movie. Mel Gibson, by far one of my favorite male actors. He's had a lot of great movies.
Yeah. And the thing I love about this movie is, kind of just like what I was talking about is, these guys that he's taking into this life or death situation, he cares about them. He treats them like they are his sons. And it also portrays his family back home, his small children and shows how he loves his children. And I don't know, do we see that in movies anymore? You tell me.
Not very frequently, no.
We've got an ex-CIA operative, Marine Corps Force Recon officer, haunted by his former covert life of violence. He views himself as beyond redemption, guilt-ridden, burnt out. He struggles with thoughts of self-harm. Reluctantly, he takes a job protecting the 9-year-old daughter of a wealthy businessman. He initially dismisses her persistent curiosity about his life and scars, but her affectionate nature gradually starts to crack through his stoic demeanor. The process of rediscovering his humanity is rudely interrupted when his new friend is violently abducted in front of him in a struggle that leaves him severely injured. Believing her dead, he methodically tracks down everyone involved in the kidnapping to exact his cold, brutal revenge, stopping at nothing to ensure those responsible pay for their crimes. In the course of his rampage, he learns that she is in fact not dead and can be set free for the right price. In order to restore the young girl's freedom, he will have to trade a life for a life, a trade that he willingly makes without hesitation.
This sounds like Denzel Washington in Man on Fire.
That, sir, is exactly the movie. He is not her father, but probably acts more like a father than her actual father.
Yep, definitely plays a father figure in that movie.
Favorite quote here. Forgiveness is between them and God. My job is to arrange the meeting. Yes, sir.
That's such a good one, too.
Yes, sir.
That's one thing that I think is missing from a lot of movies these days are memorable quotes.
Sure.
The good one-liners.
Yep. Let's jump on to the next one here. We've got Frank is a hero veteran firefighter who unexpectedly dies on duty, resulting in his son dealing with the trauma of growing up without his father. until an unusual electrical storm appears miraculously, allowing him to communicate across time with his now grown NYPD detective son. Learning of his imminent death and subsequent life-altering choices, Frank, who is depicted as a loving father, is given the chance to choose a different path, and does so with his family's welfare foremost on his mind. Changing the past doesn't come without its ripple effects, however, and the two men get caught up investigating a string of serial murders in order to save Frank's wife, who becomes one of the victims in the new timeline. Accused of being involved, Frank's only option is to find the real killer with the help of his son.
I don't know this one right off the top of my head, but I'm sure I've heard of it.
You know what? I don't know that it was a highly acclaimed picture, but I think it's a great movie. It's a lot of fun, and you can't go wrong with a little bit of Dennis Quaid.
Frequency. Okay.
This is a movie
I have not
Frequency.
seen this movie. This actually, I'm going to need to check this one out. That's a very interesting presence, and that's got Jim Caviezel.
Jim Caviezel, and it spends the time and really depicts this man as, he's a good man. He's a hero. He's competent, and it's like, hey, you would like this guy to be your dad. He's got a good quote when he's teaching his son how to ride a bike. He says, "Why don't we tame this Bronco, huh? You and me, spirit and guts."
I like that. And for those of you who may not know, both Dennis Quaid and Jim Caviezel are both very open, conservative actors in Hollywood, and both faith-based men who love their country and love their God.
Right on. Let's check out what do we got. Former English teacher turned skilled U.S. Army Ranger captain who leads a squad on a mission to find and bring home a single Army private during the chaos of the Normandy invasion during World War II. He is characterized by his calm, resourceful, and humane leadership, all while bearing his own struggle with the psychological toll of combat. A reluctant but effective leader who commands the fierce loyalty of his men, wrestles with the moral burden of potentially sacrificing their lives to extract a single man from the conflict. Upon finding the private defending a river crossing with his platoon against significant German forces, it becomes clear that this dedicated soldier will not abandon his brothers in arms. The captain therefore decides to stay, taking command and developing a strategy to help reinforce the bridge against the coming assault, ultimately giving his own life in service to others.
Sounds like Tom Hanks in Saving Private Ryan.
That, sir, is correct.
That was a great movie. A very graphic opening to a movie, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
They definitely set the tone for that movie and for that time period, more specifically right at the start of the movie. So you knew exactly what you were getting into, and you kind of got a good sense of the horrors of what it meant to be on the beaches of Normandy in World War II.
His quote that I liked from this movie: "I just want to go home and see my kids. I don't know anything anymore, except that the more killing I do, the further away from home I feel." This is a man, ladies and gentlemen, highly decorated but deeply traumatized veteran of the French and Indian Wars. He now lives a quiet, peaceful life running his farm and raising his 7 children alone. Having sworn a vow to never see battle again, he vehemently resists getting involved in the brewing conflict against the occupying British Army, preferring instead to negotiate and make peace with the Crown. That is, until the war reaches his front steps, when British troops burn his farm, take his eldest son Gabriel as prisoner, and needlessly murder his second son Thomas, who tries to resist. Driven by grief, he takes up arms once more, leading a hastily assembled militia comprised of farmers and barroom brawlers. His tactical brilliance and unconventional hit-and-run methods prove to be more than his opponents are prepared to face, earning him a reputation amongst the British only as the Ghost. He nearly gives up the fight when Gabriel is also killed, but because of his son's dedication to the cause, he is inspired to carry on and ensure that his remaining children live free from oppression.
Scott the Robot says, "I hate this movie." I'm not sure if they're talking about this one or the last one.
What do you got? You want to take a look at this? That is, again, that is our Mr. Mel Gibson here, the Patriot. I think there's a theme with good old Mel here. Again, this movie's 26 years old. I can't think of some current contemporary movies that are putting these types of masculine characters in front of audiences. He says, I have long feared that my sins would return to visit me, and the cost is more than I can bear.
I think part of the reason why you're not seeing a lot of men like this in movies today is because a lot of them have just aged out. A lot of those masculine role models are now far too old to play in these roles, and there just isn't enough of a well to draw from when it comes to masculine.
I don't think they're writing. I don't think they're writing the characters either.
100%
is really where I'm going.
If I were to say, give me 3 hyper masculine actors today, who would you say?
You've got some decent work with Henry Cavill.
Agreed.
You got Jason Statham is getting a little bit older, but I think he can still pull that off a little bit. Probably a few others. I was unprepared for this question, but let's see.
That was the point.
You bastard. There's a few guys, but you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I think right. The actors themselves. Oh, who's the guy who got in a fight in the in the middle of the street over in his neighborhood with the motorcycle? He plays Reacher.
Reacher. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I can't remember the actor's name though.
Keanu does a decent job. And you could maybe slot in a little bit some of his latest work. I don't know that it necessarily falls into like father figure type of territory, but let's keep this thing going. Having faced the tragedy of losing his wife and all but one of his children, he's grown into a dedicated father, fiercely protective over his one remaining developmentally disabled son. He does his best, however, to overcome these setbacks and displays a deep and profound love, teaching his son how to stay safe and navigate a dangerous world. Being young and impetuous, his son has his own ideas and doesn't always heed his father's advice, often viewing him as overbearing and suffocating. That is until the boy is abducted by strangers and taken far away from home. In order to get his son back, he'll have to face his deepest fears and relentlessly pursue the kidnappers across the planet, in the process becoming a stronger man dealing with his past trauma.
I know it's not this movie, and I'm not even sure if you have this movie in the lineup, but the one with Liam Neeson.
Are you thinking of Taken?
Yeah, it sounds a lot like Taken, but I know the first movie centered around his daughter.
You know what? I didn't include Taken mostly because go back and watch that movie. Yes, he goes nuts and he goes off to find and rescue his daughter, but he doesn't even really know his daughter. Oh, maybe you weren't such a great father. Like now when we need a little bit of help,
he's killing a bunch of men to make up for it. I don't know what else you want. See,
what else would you want? This movie here, this is a little bit of a red herring. I tricked you a little bit. Let's take a look. We have Finding Nemo.
All right, fair enough.
Nemo's dad, he's got this great quote. He said, "What is it with men and asking for directions? I don't want to play the gender card right now. You want to play a card? Let's play the let's not die card."